Let's see how this goes now. Uh, uh, uh. Let's see if the volume comes through. Let's see how this goes. Yes. Greetings. Finally, huh? Okay. Globling accidentally destroys the globe. I will show which Globling I'm referring to. First, let's do this. Let's see what happens. Oh, there I am in the corner. Okay. This is a video by Wolfie6020. Now this video, oh, look at that transition. This video shows the sun, well, 19 degrees off south on the azimuth. This video, where the sun is shown being 19 degrees off south on the azimuth, it's supposed to be to the west, like beyond 270. Okay, it was August from Australia. Wait, let me just fix a couple of things. Okay, so this video of the sun way off where it should be on the app that's filming the sun is a video where Wolfie is describing how exact and precise this app is. Now, after QMFI showed something wrong with this app, dude. Look, you're saying that the sun is 199 degrees on the azimuth. Remember, 180 would be directly south. The heck, dude? And that's QMFI. It was QMFI brought attention to this. Wolfie, in his video, is explaining how precise this app is so that he can say, look, it's dropping to the sun. It's completely not precise when it comes to what it says down there, which is 199 or 19 degrees west from an altitude of 3,538 miles. True. That's a true magnetism. That's not magnetism as is affected by declination. No. So Wolfie, after this is pointed out, says, oh no, it's not that precise. Obviously, the equipment in the cockpit causes problems. It causes problems to the compass, see, because planes cause problems to compasses. Like, okay. He then says the way these problems are overcome in the cockpit is by having the compass shielded with lots of extra magnets. Like, don't the magnets affect the compass? But never mind that. Never mind. Now, this video, in this hangout, I'm going to show absolute irrefutable evidence that physicists have got it wrong in the past, have had to acknowledge the fact that they had it wrong and work with reality. Wolfie has this app. He thinks this app shows the truth. He can't figure out how this app might not show the truth. For instance, let's say the app was made to tilt what you have over on the right, which is the inclinometer for the y-axis, which will be the axis going away from you. He hasn't figured out that they could just simply say, look, for every so many feet elevation, incline it a tad. Just incline it a tad. You can't figure it out. You can't go that high that you'd be able to figure it out. This is just not doable. But you can go to cruising altitude. That's all they have to do. They have to say, well, look, if you go to cruising altitude, and this is made for things like cruising, hence why it's saying waiting for GPS data, then all they have to do is say, look, for every so many feet or for every meter, whatever, set up an algorithm for whatever the altitude, adjust the inclinometer. But Wolfie's not that bright. We've established this already. He keeps telling people the equinox happens on the Earth on the very same day. He's entered into arguments with me when I showed him point blank sunrise and sunset. Check from your own location on the supposed day of the equinox. Dim dim. Anyway, so this video is a bit of a from Wolfie. Now let's close that and let's go to this one. Here we start the discussion, and I thank Phil for this video. This is a video I showed in my last hangout that worked, not the one where I was all hot and sweaty and bothered squinting at the screen, which I deleted. My last real hangout, I urged people to watch this video. This is called The Secret War. The first part is The War of the Beams. It's a series of documentaries linked in one, so you can binge watch. We're going to watch physicists realizing the Germans have a weapon against Britain that physics say is impossible. But the Germans are using it and it works. Ergo, it's not impossible. Your theory is wrong. So, we're going to watch a couple of minutes of this section, then we're going to skip to 35 minutes in. So, here we go. I hope the audio plays fine.
On to say that they were shortwave radio beams aimed from Germany over Britain. So the trail had suddenly come alive, and the knowledge from these interrogations, together with information from other sources, made it clear that Excavator and Nicobine were radio navigation aids for attacking bombers. And about this time, R.V. Jones thought that the evidence, though tenuous, was sufficient for a report to the Chiefs of Staff, which he called Indications of New German Weapons Against Britain.
I wrote, it is possible that they have developed a system of intersecting radio beams so that they can locate a target, such as London, sufficiently accurately for indiscriminate bombing. No information is available regarding the wavelength to be employed, but the accuracy of location expected by the Germans is something like half, and I had intended to have mile in, but my secretary had typed metre as the report went out, something like half a metre over London from the western frontier of Germany.
June the 3rd,
I'm going to replay that because I realised that some Globlings, they really don't understand what their model is. They don't really understand how their model is supposed to portray itself if it was the real world. They don't understand. They have the real world and how that works, and then they have this fantasy model, and they think that the real world is a display that the model is correct. So they don't actually ponder, how would the model look? The physicist that we're going to listen to explains how his superior said to him, shouldn't happen, curvature of the earth. So I'm going to rewind to listen to what he's explaining. He's explaining that the Germans have intersecting beams from Germany over Britain. I will show right now the earth curvature for that distance. I've placed the eye height at 200 feet. That's not the real eye height. The eye height was lower than that. But let's say it was 200 feet. This is the distance between Cleve, which is where this station was, sending the main beam, and London. They were not sending it for London at first. They were sending it for farther north and west, which is a greater distance. But just for London, the target hidden height is 48,000 feet, almost 49,000 feet. This means the beam would be 49,000 feet at least above the ground over London. But planes don't fly, at least back then, they didn't fly at 49,000 feet. So, let's go back to this.
40, and the last of the British troops have been evacuated from
sorry.
Dunkirk. The remainder are captured.
Here.
Radio beams aimed from Germany over Britain. So the trail had suddenly come alive, and the knowledge from these interrogations, together with information from other sources made it clear that Excavator and Knickerbein were radio navigation aids for attacking bombers. And about this time, R.V. Jones thought that the evidence, though tenuous, was sufficient for a report to the Chiefs of Staff, which he called indications of new German weapons against Britain.
I wrote, "It is possible that they have developed a system of
Now, this is Professor R.V. Jones, head of Air Ministry Scientific Intelligence during the Second World War. This is a physicist. He's explaining in a letter to his superiors.
Radio beams so that they can locate a target, such as London, sufficiently accurately for indiscriminate bombing. No information is available regarding the wavelength to be employed, but the accuracy of location expected by the Germans is something like half, and I had intended to have mile in, but my secretary had typed metre as the report went out, something like half a metre over London from the western frontier of Germany.
That means from the western frontier of Germany to London with a half-mile accuracy. Well, for the Globlings who are thinking, well, the beam must splay, it must diverge. It's like, okay, it still has to deal, the bottom of that diverging beam has to deal with 48,000 feet. And it wouldn't allow for a half-mile, if it has diverged so much, for a half-mile accuracy. But let's continue. Let's go now to an upgraded system of the one they were discussing. But, well, let me carry on playing a couple of minutes of this, then I'll move to 35 minutes in.
On the 3rd, 1940, and the last of the British troops have been evacuated from Dunkirk. The remainder are captured. And this unique film recalls the desperate measures being prepared on the south coast beaches to meet the expected German invasion. And the real Dad's Army prepare to defend their country. Across the Channel, the Luftwaffe, now using French airfields, prepare to take part in Operation Sea Lion, the invasion of Britain. Their orders are transmitted from headquarters to the forward airfields by radio. They're sent in the supposedly unbreakable Enigma code. One of these signals is intercepted, and the 5-letter groups, when deciphered, provide a most significant message.
What it said, I'll translate her. It said, Knickerbein, and then there came the word Klever, is established or confirmed, the German's ambiguous at this point, at point 5324 north, 1 degree west. Now, 5324 north, 1 degree west is in England. It is a point roughly on the Great North Road, about a mile south of Retford. Knickerbein, we knew already as the name which we suspected of being concerned with a beam system. Klever, well, one couldn't be quite sure, but it was the German name for the town that we call Cleves, where Anne of Cleves comes from, right on the very western edge of Germany. In fact, if I can just bring the map in, we have it here. The German frontier comes like this, so this position is as far west as you can get in Germany from the point of view of covering England. So it was quite a likely site for a beam station.
The distance he just traced with his finger is the distance this beam had in accuracy at the end of the beam of a mile.
If they were trying to bomb us using such a system. So the interpretation of the message, which I saw almost in a flash, was that there is a Knickerbein station at Cleves. Somehow a transmission from it has been confirmed at this position over in England, and the simplest interpretation was that a navigational aircraft had been out, located where the beam was positioned on this particular occasion.
Dr. Jones took the message to Professor Lindemann, his old tutor and now scientific advisor to Winston Churchill.
Now listen to what his superior said to him.
And tried to persuade him of the serious threat posed by the Knickerbein beams. But Lindemann was not convinced, pointing out that at the high frequencies necessary for an accurate beam, the curvature of the Earth would prevent its being directed against targets in Britain.
That means the curvature of the Earth would make it impossible. You see, the curvature of the Earth would make it impossible. However, the Germans were using it, it was not impossible. Why is that? Because the curvature of the Earth is not there. It's not because gravity pulls down towards the ground like a fishing rod, beams of high frequency radio waves. No, it's that the curvature isn't there.
An argument for which fortunately I'd met before, when I myself had been putting up a system rather like this for as a proposal for our own bomber navigation, and it had been turned down on this very ground.
You see, this gentleman had proposed what the Germans were using against Britain. He had proposed using this against Germany, and it had been turned down because of the Earth curvature. Well, the Germans like, sod that, we'll use it.
And fortunately, from the point of view of this story anyway, I had seen a paper by Mr. T.L. Eckersley of the Marconi Company, who was the sort of confidential consultant to our radio listening service, when he had worked out what you could receive on the ground from transmitters at various points. And he'd actually taken a transmitter over on the Brocken, over in central Germany, and he had shown that it was in principle possible to receive it by a receiver somewhere even in Britain. And so I got out Eckersley's report as a piece of ammunition to go back to Lindemann the next day. But in that 24 hours, a great deal more happened.
The Trent Park Centre had received more captured...
Now, it means this physicist had to argue with the other physicist about this curvature of the Earth nonsense. And the other physicist was the scientific advisor to Winston Churchill. He's the one that said, no, Earth curvature wouldn't allow it. And this guy's like, look, you know Marconi sent signals way farther than that. Not bouncing it off the ionosphere or anything like that, but never mind. Let's move ahead to 35 minutes in, where it gets even better.
Night bomber offensive. For there was another, completely unjammable beam to London. The River Thames. The night blitz on London began on the 7th of September 1940, and the capital was bombed for 57 nights by an average of 130 aircraft. There were also raids on our coastal towns, for they too were easy to find by night. And by New Year's Day, 1941, over 13,000 people were killed and 16,000 severely injured in London alone.
Of course, that big bomber offensive that had started on the 7th of September was exploiting the new geographical situation, where we were in an almost impossible situation. There was the whole of that great arc from which we could be attacked. And of course, instead of being further back here, they were now able to come right up the Calais area and the Cherbourg area, points nearest from which the Germans could fire beams at us, which would give good intersections. But I was worried by the fact that although we seemed to have cleared the whole thing all in one in Knickerbein, and it seemed that the X-Garate might be an alternative system for Knickerbein, we had not proved they were one and the same thing, and therefore we were still on the lookout in case there was a second system.
X-Garate was the second system. A main beam was sent from Cherbourg with multiple cross beams from Calais. First, a warning beam some distance from the target. Then a second beam crossed the main one some 20 kilometres from the target, and a third 5 kilometres from the target. These beams were much more accurate than Knickerbein. A special clock on the aircraft was started as the cross beams appeared.
Now, care to model this on a globe? You see, not only is the curvature between this point and the target that you have to deal with, but also there's curvature between these three beams. I'll do a little, I'll have a little go at modelling it on the globe. This is absolute proof that physicists in the war knew there is no curvature, forget the curvature, we need to save lives. Absolutely, irrefutable, that's it, done, finished. Now we're going to go on to the actual debunking of the globe by a globling. First, and lo and behold, wait, let me change scenes so you can see me in the little thing. Is it this one? Yeah, there I am. Okay. Greetings everybody in chat. I hear that there are problems with the stream. I can't see the problems whilst I'm watching the actual page. I'm not seeing problems, but who knows. Anyway, what we're about to see is a flat earther who's taken star trails from the south, from Australia. Taking star trails, and he's compared those star trails with themselves. So he's got the star trails, and he's taken those star trails, and in order to compare, he's done this. Let's see how they look now. Let's see if we can see. And they do not converge. The video, and I urge everybody to watch it, I'm not going to share the link in the chat right now because problems that might happen. Flat Earth, southern star trails do not make perfect circles by no fanfare. Now what he's done is he's mirrored his own star trails, and he's going to align the centers of those star trails to compare the actual trails. Okay, so let's have a look.
You put that smack bang right over the same dot, and you'll see they match up because it's the working.
So what he's doing now, he's just comparing. He's got the original file, he's got a duplicate file of the original. He's placed a center, and he's taken the duplicate, placed it exactly over the original, and it lines up perfectly because, well, it's a duplicate. Now he flips it so you can see anything that might not be quite au fait.
I'll do to get rid of that selection.
By the way, guys at home, if you're watching on your telephone, watch it not on your telephone. If you're watching on a tablet or a screen or a computer, take, and when I say screen, I mean like a TV. Grab yourself a piece of paper that you can make into a rule, or something else that you can make into a rule so that you can compare distances. Not here, but the next one. The next one is not from a flat earther, it's from a globling. He doesn't realize he has destroyed the globe with, wait for it, the South Celestial Pole. Well, who'd have thunk it? Apart from me, who predicted it. Well, I predicted it jokingly. It's like, wouldn't it be funny if the South Celestial Pole was the thing that ultimately undid the globe? And it is. So, keep watching.
Right, they're pretty much lined up there. So put that, go back, undo, so I've selected again. Now I'm going to go image mirror, image flip, because that's equivalent to a 180 degree turn, or otherwise back, otherwise I'd go image rotate, right or left 180 degrees, won't matter, it's the same. So okay, so same thing. So first up I'll get that over here, just match up that red dot again. Right, Control D. Right. Yeah. Where was that?
Sorry, I just have to pause for a second and Give a shout out to Jermaine Norton. According to Sean Haynes, he loves these. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he hates them. But it's like, I'm going to get him to give you a shout out. I don't know, but shout out anyway. Okay, let's continue. Please pay attention to how the star trails, they seem to have very singular, independent, different centers. Watch.
There. See? That was a selection from the copy. The blue line there is one of the originals. It's not making a perfect circle, nor there. Nor there. What's this? Control D. C, E. That. It's wider up here than down there. Undo, 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 undo again. There's the selected.
Look over here on the right. That's very simple and easy to see. I hope you have your rule with you, your ruler. You're measuring things.
That was the original one that we pasted over. Alright, let's muck around with this. Let's go here. I'm going to go back there and drag this around, but you look here. Oh, hang on, I'll do just a little here. Try and make that fit in with the circle. There. Maybe that one fits better. If I try and fit these with the circle, there we are. Control B again. Let's have a look here. So now they're sort of fitting around here, but not in the centre.
It's all kinds of wrong.
Making an elliptical. Oh, there you go, look there.
Crossing
See that
over.
there?
All kinds of wrong. No fanfare, by the way, is a genius. Now, grab your measuring tool. Because we're going to measure this. And this has not been flipped and turned and played with. Okay? This is the Globling who doesn't realize that he has just destroyed the globe. He doesn't realize with this image. You see, because he's a Globling, he doesn't see properly. He doesn't see. He has inattentional blindness. I'm going to ask you all to come over here. I'm going to play you this video, but I'm going to ask you all to come over here and measure between this lighter trail. You see this bright one here, the one above that is slightly lighter. We're going to measure between this point and this trail here. Measure this, and then we're going to come to here and measure this. Just go ahead and measure it, guys. You want to make the line as perpendicular to these two, although they're curved lines. Make your line as perpendicular to these two, and that should take you to the supposed center. Okay? Please go ahead, measure the distance between the two circles or two trails here, and take that same measurement and take it over here. And then I will play the video so people see that this is indeed the same trail. It's not two different trails. We're not looking at one star here and then a difference. No, this is the same trail. So please go ahead and do that. Type X when you've done that. I'm going to watch the chat. Ay, 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 ay. Can't see it. Suzanne Dawson, what can you not see? You cannot see my cursor. Oh, dagnabbit. Okay. So I'm going to describe it with my words. Look at the top left of your screen. You have a trail. The closest trail to the top left of your screen, that trail, we're going to then leapfrog the bright one that's directly under it to the next trail. We're going to measure from the edge of that first trail, the one that's to the top left, straight line, perpendicular to that trail, to the faint line once we've leapfrogged the light one. Then we're going to follow that light one across to its end, and we're going to measure up to the original trail. I don't know how to make my cursor visible. So if you're watching on your phone, you'll have to do it at home. You'll see. You'll see. So let me see if I can fiddle around and have my cursor show. Just a second. How would I do that? No, I can't. I really can't figure it out now, and I might just ruin everything. So I'm going to use my words again. This time being more careful. We have on the screen trails. We have the top left corner and the trail closest to that left corner. That's going to be trail 1. That trail is interrupted by the top of the frame, but continues. That's trail 1. We then have trail 2, going back to the left corner. We have the much brighter trail. That would be trail 2. We'll ignore that trail. We will leapfrog to trail 3. We will measure on the left first, that distance. We will then trace trail 3 over clockwise to the end of it and measure again that distance. Once you've done that, please type X. I think I might take this and I tell you what I do. 1 second. I think I would take this and put it through an art program, or just switch it around. Give me a second. Move here, and I will move my face. Oh, here you are. Hey, hey! I could use my face. I'm going to use the top left corner. Okay, there's trail 1. Oops. Trail 1. Okay. And here is trail 3. There's lighter trail. Okay. You're going to use from here, I'm using the top left of my little screen. This would be trail 1. I mean measurement 1. Then come to the end of this trail and oops. This will be measurement oops. This will be measurement 2. Sorry, from here to here. You can see, you can see without measuring that this is closer here than here. But when you measure, you'll see just how much closer. And now I will drop this over here. Please type X as soon as one of you has done it. And let me look on the screen. Let me make sure that yeah, hey, that worked. Using my screen as a cursor. There you go. You can get around things. Listening and eating, Nicholas. Okay. We'll have a look later. Have a good look later. Got it? Yes. Yes. Okay, Anita and Rune. Brilliant. Now I'm going to play the video. And I will show you who that Globling was. I'm going to rewind. He's showing various different things about star trails. I tell you what, I will play the entirety of... No, it's not. It's a long, boring video. Okay. Here. Wait, I'll play at the start where the trail is there. And then I will jump ahead. So watch. Once the buffering ends. I'll put it on normal speed. You'll recognize who it is. You won't believe it.
Each of the individual frames into a Star Trails video, you can see that looking south, the trails are rotating clockwise and forming nice, clean circles about a central point.
So you see, now I will use my screen again. Where is my screen? Wait, how do I do this? Okay. Wait. Here. As he plays the video, I'm going to use, again, the top left corner of this little box screen. So this corner, right there. That's going to be the cursor pointer. You'll see as I play the video, this trail here, which is quite faint, and this trail here, which is less faint, they are continuous trails. Okay? Because I know some Globlings will say, oh no, two different stars. Like, yes, two different stars, but not one star here, one star there that stops and then a different star continues. It is the same trail, that the top of the frame crops it, makes no difference. So I will play it again. What a complete dim-dim.
Individual frames
Watch.
into a Star Trails video,
You can see this here is going to go across, get cropped by the screen and continue. Watch.
Looking south, the trails are rotating
And continue.
clockwise and forming nice, clean circles.
No, Wolfie, they're not showing nice clean circles. They're showing that your South Celestial Pole is another theory which does not agree with actual observation. Here we go again. Actual observation says, no, your theory is wrong. That's what actual observation does. It says, your theory is wrong. Absolutely impossible for your globe Earth to have several different axes at the same time, which is absolutely what's required for the stars to have circles with a different center. 100% proof that this place is not a sphere rotating around a single axis. 100% proof that this is not a sphere rotating around several different axes, because that's literally logically impossible. That's like top class, first class of impossibilities. Is the logically impossible. Top class, not doable. This is Wolfie 6020, the complete dim-dim, and none of his people commenting have spotted it. None of them. None. I only looked because I saw no fanfare looking at his trail. I thought, oh, I think Wolfie might have done a big boo-boo on this. I looked, and lo and behold, yes, he has. Now, if anybody cares to take this and fiddle with it and flip it like No Fanfare did, you'll find, yeah, what the heck? This is not this. 100% impossible. Like, the word impossible, what it means, this shows what it means. Now let me go to here. There I am. Okay, with my ice cream head. I'm looking in the chat now. Oh, there's some people without, could it be a fisheye lens? Nope. Nope. BM furball. No. You just saw what you just saw. Watch it again. I'm going to give you a wrench. Watch it again. 100% impossible. Just 100% impossible. Now, that's not an EQ mount that's mounted to rotate. That's a mount that's set to the south celestial pole. It's not moving. It's set. I mean, if it moved, it wouldn't work. It's set to the south celestial pole, to post south celestial pole, which we now know there's no such thing. That's all nonsense. So really, Cosmic Surfer writes, no notification. Yes, yeah, I should have pasted it in the link. Cosmic Surfer, I'm wondering, would you be able to do a very long exposure photo of the south celestial pole from your location? You know, rather than time lapse, or rather than, you know, lots and lots of photos. If you would be able to do either one or two incredibly long exposure photos. Because the argument will be, the software that compiles the photos must have messed up. Like, nope. A camera, something. It's like, no. The something is the real world. That's the something that you can't model. You can't say, well, our model says this, the real world shows otherwise, therefore it's something else going wrong. It's like, no. It isn't camera artifacts. It's not camera curvature. It's nothing like that. It is simply that the stars do not rotate around the same single point. That's what it is. Cosmic Surfer, why has the volume gone down? Has it? No idea. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, no, it's looking all right from here. I hope this isn't a case where you're holding your phone going, dagnit, I have my finger on the volume button, which is the kind of thing that I do. Nice hair, Voynich. Okay, thank you. Danny Diesel, very fast earth wobble. If it was, it would have to be affecting all of the stars, no? Guys, this is it. It's completely finished for them. Completely finished. Because all that we will do is present footage from astronomy departments. That's what I'm going to do now, is go to the ESO and capture as much Star Trail footage as I can of the South Celestial Pole. I tried doing this before, but they kept scrolling. The cameras kept scrolling. It's like, hey, why don't you fix it on the South Celestial Pole? You're an observatory in the south. So, yes, it's completely finished for them. And it's going to be with the South Celestial Pole. It's going to be, here's the South Celestial Pole. Explain this. And they're going to go, end session. That's what they'll do. Jeez. Jeff Dawson, volume is same here. Cosmic Surfer, maybe, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm going to show something else. By the way, guys, right. Oh, no, I've put it away. I was going to go and get the feather that I did the thing and drop it here. According to some of the Globlings, that feather had a steel rod inside it. I go, wow, how absolutely desperate must you be to say that? I tell you what, I will go and get it. Just give me a second. Just looking at Loki because he's sleeping, but he has this uncanny ability to like realize when I'm moving. He woke up, but he didn't move. Okay, I'm back. I have the feathers. They were sent to me by a brilliant dude. Now, give me a second. I will find the feather that I was using. Where is it? I have a whole bunch of feathers. Lots and lots of feathers. It wasn't just one. It's not a prop feather. It's real feathers. Like real feathers from a falcon. Hey, where's the... Oh. Oh, no. where is the feather? Did I leave it out? Just give me a second. Because I've got all of these and more. But I don't see it. It's a very tapered feather. I suppose I could have used this one. Give me a second. Okay, so here are feathers. Okay, let me make sure that I'm screen sharing properly. Yes. Okay, so yeah, I can close this. Okay. Here are feathers. Can you see how this, in fact, most of them have very frayed hairs. Can you see the very frayed hairs which cause extra drag? So I chose this one for two reasons. It's more tapered here, but also these are not so flayed. Can you see? And it's a real feather. This one happens to be split. It's broken. It was broken when I was using it. I thought, should I glue it together? And then I thought, no, because that would be cheating. Well, it could be considered as cheating if the glue adds extra weight, which it would necessarily have to do. This is the feather. According to Globlings, this has a steel rod in it. They say, oh, well, in your first video, when you put it on the thing, there was a big loud clunk. It's like, the video's there, listen to it all you like for your big loud clunk. You can't put, well, maybe they would put a steel rod. I don't know. But this is just a normal feather. It's not actually a normal feather. I mean, by normal, I meant a natural, real feather. I don't know where this feather comes from. It looks like it might be like a trim feather, I can't figure where this, because this has not been cut by me or anyone. This is the shape of this feather. Like I say, I have lots of other feathers. And yes, lots of the feathers fall slower than the hammer. But they all have this, and I didn't want to hairspray this or anything, because that would be considered cheating. According to the Globlings, because they can't deal with that, there must have been a steel rod inside. And now that I've shown, where is it, that this is broken, they'll say, aha, see, it's because you had a steel feather in it, and when you took it out, it broke or something. You can watch the video if you watch very carefully. I haven't done anything. It was broken. It's been broken all along. A steel rod inside the feather. They could just actually try it themselves. Not to mention, there are many other people that I've shown that have done it themselves. I'm not the first guy. Danny Diesel did it, for goodness sake. Danny Diesel, by the way, was it you? Wait. I don't remember who it was that sent me the feathers, but it was a cool guy. Clunk from a feather hitting a sponge pillow. No. They said that when I put it on the scale, there was a big loud metallic clunk. It's like, right, let me see. Let me just get this right. In your brain, I'm so cunning that I think, haha, well, the feather doesn't follow the same rate as the hammer, which is entirely steel, not like theirs, which was steel and wood. Okay, so, I better put some steel rod in here, like a skewer or something. Put a steel rod in there. And then, when I weigh it, I better leave the steel rod in there. It'll make the feather weigh 6 grams. So I just leave the steel rod in there and drop it so it clangs and leave it all there. It's like, if I was so cunning as to, it didn't even cross my mind to do that. Why would you do that? Anyway. If I was so cunning as to go, oh, I'm going to put a steel thing here, make it fall faster, then might be cunning enough to take it out and weigh it. just so desperate, so absolutely desperate. I was going to show something. Well, one of the feathers is history. Loki's got it. What was I going to show? Oh yeah, right. Give me a second. Damn, I don't know if I'll be able to. Danny Diesel sent the balloon hammer. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. But mainly it's been flat earthers joking with that. It's a balloon hammer. Like, I did wave them, like, continuous shot. Like, from Danny Diesel. Danny Diesel's like, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to continue a shot. No, so, I don't know if this is going to share now, but I will see. And it's this sun, Globling's exclaiming, like, whoa, hold on a second, the sun is coming up and going down way too far north. And there are a bunch of Spanish Globlings coming to me saying, we want to look at all your data and all your calculations. Like, no, just go and look at the globe. Just look at the globe data calculations. You see the data and you see the calculations. See, the data doesn't quite match the calculations. Equinox and stuff. So, give me a second. I'm trying to find this thing. One sec. Hey. So, give me a sec. I'm finding the video. God heavens. So, Globling's saying, hey, guys, sun, not coming up like it used to. Sorry, I'm just tracing through. Oh, and then I'm going to play something else too. I'm going to cue this now. Actually, I won't play it because I'll just show it. I won't play it because it turns out that some of the channels who have mirrored the video I'm about to point out have had their channels deleted just for showing the video, even though the video is saying share as much as possible. But just bear with me. Watch that it was causing this, then Polaris would be rather out of whack, wouldn't it? So I'm queuing something. I don't know if it will play because I have to fiddle around with things called scenes and whatnot. Right. Make sure it's showing at the optimum. Okay. Ay. Right. Now let me see how I do this. I'm going to try and split. Just give me a second, folks. God, they're so desperate. So desperate. Right, let me see where I am. Here. Okay. Let's see, here? No, here. Yes, so Windows. Let's see what this does. Let's see what this shows. It's not looking like it's showing what I wanted to show.
August 2nd.
No. Okay. Give me a sec, folks. It's tricky, this new thing. Okay, so take that off. Give me a second. Let's see what this does. Just give me a sec. Oh, okay. It would be worth it. Oh, wait a second. No. I have a cat who has all these feathers and they say, oh my gosh, has Santa Claus been? And I want to make sure he doesn't destroy them all. What a kind thing. The person who sent this didn't even send a return address. So I couldn't even return them or even send a thank you note. Oops. Just goes to show how unafraid flat earthers are, or some flat earthers. Hey, what's your address? I've got some feathers for you. That's my address. So it comes to my address. Hey, get off. Anyway, let me carry on. Video capture, Windows capture, right, Windows capture. No, it's showing the old one. Right, give me a second, folks. Window capture, yes. Okay. What? Yes. Aha, I think I have it. Here. Good. Got it. It's not that complicated. Right. I hope I'm showing this. Okay. Let me make sure I'm showing what I think I'm showing, which is Mr. MB33. 33. 333. Oh, magic number. 3 times. Wow, ultra magic. Right. I'm going to play it. Pay attention, globe believers. Yours truly explains this in the Book of the Sun. Now, globe believers are seeing it. They're going, Earth's axis must have shifted.
11 a.m. Mountain Time, 2019. Guys, in this video, we're going to take a look at some new amazing sky phenomenon photos that have been shared within the last 24 to 48 hours. You guys are wide awake and on the ball, and keep the photos coming. But first, we're going to start out here in Rock Creek, West Virginia. And we're going to ask, has the sun changed location with regard to sunrise and sunset? I've had several people over the last few months suggest that they think the sun seems to be rising in a different place and setting in a different place. Well, I have an example here from a young lady, an observant young lady from Rock Creek. She's lived in the same house her entire life, so I think if anybody would notice a change like that, it would be a person just like her. She's drank her morning coffee for decades off the same back porch and has never been able to see the sun come up due to these mountains and hills blocking the direct sunrise. Yeah, she could see sunlight, but she could never see the sun from this location until now. I want to read an email that she sent to me back on the 29th of July, just a few days ago, and this is the email right here. I just took a screenshot of it. I received this Monday, July 29th at 6:54 a.m. Starts off, she says, since 1961, I've never seen the sun come up where I live. And that's where I just showed you in Rock Creek, West Virginia. It is usually to the right of the picture where I wouldn't see it due to a big hill or a mountain that was there and hit it in the past. Now I'm excited about morning coffee and watching the sunrise. Also, the sun never hits the driveway until 11 a.m. until now. Now the sun is hitting her driveway at 9 a.m., about 2 hours earlier. Now keep in mind, she has lived in the same home since 1961. So she's been observing sunrises for 58 years. And I think she would be pretty much a great source of information regarding some sort of a change like this. Here's a picture that she sent me as the sun is being blocked by clouds, more like a solar filter, so you can actually see the sun itself. Normally, she said it's way over here to the right, and she's unable to see it. She's never seen that before from the location that her house is. So there's one picture there. She sent another picture here as the sun's coming up. Again, never